What is up, everybody, and welcome to part 3 of my cart build. As you can see, I got some new camera gear in, and I got some beautiful shots of these puddles of weld pool forming. You can see how welds look better out of that setup than you can out of my hood, especially with the color tone. I'm probably not even really going to color grade those particular shots all that much, but that blue, that glow, that glowing blue, that's exactly how welds look not through a mask. Masks like filter out and they look very green when you weld through one of those. This blue electric light, see, when you weld, it's very high energy, and so it pushes the electromagnetic spectrum to a higher energy. And blue, violet, those colors are much higher energy than reds, and like infrared is just a little bit below the visible spectrum, and ultraviolet is just a little bit above the visible spectrum. And that shows you how those colors are in terms of energy. Red is a lower energy color and blue is a higher energy color, and that's why weld pools are blue, and that's how they look in the shot, which is so cool. That's exactly like true color how they look. As you can see, I got this thing clamped down right here, so I had it clamped on the other side, and then I did all those welds, and then I flipped it over and did the other side. So this keeps it from warping and potato chipping as much as possible. So you weld it, and then you let all the welds on one side cool, and then you flip it around, weld the other side. I don't usually bother to tack the other side because I have this big fabrication table, this big steel fabrication table I built a while ago with the stick welder before I had the TIG welder. And so by clamping it down really to this really solid table, that keeps the warpage out as it cools. So metal heats up and then it shrinks as it cools, and that causes things to warp. So having it anchored to this really solid, that keeps it from happening. So I weld all the top welds and I flip around and weld all the bottom welds, and then I come in, and so here's how it looks right now. You can see there's a top weld, and you can see like the beginning of the other weld right there. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to fill in these welds right here, and then the welds on the inside as well. One thing that was occurring when I was doing the welds, because I was so busy trying to film them, my welds did not come out that good in a couple of spots. One particular spot, you'll be able to see that I got colds in the middle, and so I started getting hot, and then I let off the pedal too much, and then I got colds, and then I caught back up on the end, and then I went back and without any filler melted it back down, got it hot until I got the toes to come back in on it a little bit, and then after I did that, I dabbed it with a little bit of filler to keep a crater from forming, and then let off. On day 2 of part 3 of my weld cart builds, I have this clamped down right here. This is the top part, and we're gonna get to doing some welding. It's done. Finished it out. That's all of it. And this one, both done. Really happy with them. Glad they came out good. That I'm most excited, I think, about how awesome that footage was. I mean, that was just some really fantastic footage. And if you are new to welding, you can look at that and really see how a puddle is supposed to look as it moves and folds around. Not all my welds are great. some of them were really bad. Some of them came out really good, and some of them you can see. And you know, I'm not necessarily the best welder. In some of my shots, you can see my hands are like a little shaky, and I'm having a little bit of trouble. I'm not moving quite as fast as I want. But you can see the metal flow really well with this footage I got, better than you can see, I think, on any video I've seen on YouTube. And I don't say that lightly, because there's some really good video out there. But this is like the most true tone, especially like I've talked about, like the coloring of it is really true. And so the ability to see that that metal flowing is what you're trying to see in your visor. If you don't see that, you need to adjust your tinting, because you need to see that liquid metal flow. But yeah, guys, I'm all done with part 3. I got these done, and now we're gonna go on, and I'm gonna take these two plus all of that right there, and I'm gonna assemble it. And then all of that over there is going to go into it, which is my welder and my tank over there. And so now I'm almost there. There'll be a final assembly, and then the last episode will be some like finishing touches. Come back, check them out. I'm going to have even more cool footage for you guys, and I'm going to have a finished cart pretty fucking soon. Bye, guys. The reason I'm going through all this trouble to learn how to weld aluminum is because I am building a functioning Iron Man suit. It's going to be water jet cut out of a sheet of 1/8 inch aluminum. I'm paying a shop here in Denver to do it. I'm in the process of designing it. I'm in the final design phase of it now. It's going to be tabbed in the same way that like the really nice welding tables are tabbed, and then you weld them together. It's going to be much finer detail than that though, and then I'm going to use the TIG welder to go through and weld it. So if you're interested in that, do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out on my journey to do that, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks.